For me, it's actually about defending Greenland and also defending NATO's northern flank. In order to be ready for that, we simply have to step up and we have to train that. It is Danish law that a Danish soldier, if attacked, has the obligation to fight back.
Fear and anger mount inside NATO against Donald Trump after hints at using force to take over the strategic Greenland. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, the largest island in the world, a critical shipping route and a key link between Europe and America. The frozen outpost is now boiling. European nations are now sending military personnel to the ground in Greenland at Denmark's request, signaling a possible showdown between NATO and its founding member, the United States. France, Germany, and other NATO allies have sent troops to Greenland. Denmark's Arctic commander said that training is expanding in Greenland.
Denmark's Arctic commander said that training is expanding in Greenland. Andersen said he does not see the U.S. attacking fellow NATO nations, but if that happened, then Denmark is obliged to respond.
I actually don't send any message to the US. For me, it's actually about defending Greenland and also defending NATO's northern flank. The way that we see the world is that when the war in Ukraine is over, hopefully with a good result for Ukraine, we expect that Russia will move some of the capabilities and the resources into other theaters. It could be the Baltic Sea region, it could be the North Sea, it could be the Arctic. In order to be ready for that, we simply have to step up and we have to train that. I will not go into the political part, but I will say that I would never expect a NATO country attack another NATO country. For us, for me, it's not about signaling. It is actually about training military units, working together with allies. I will say that I will never expect a NATO country attacking another NATO country. But you are right that it is Danish law that a Danish soldier, if attacked, has the obligation to fight back.
Meanwhile, the US-led NATO alliance is on the brink. This as Trump doubles down on his Greenland push as he threatens punishing import taxes, 10% soon rising to 25% on 8 EU nations: Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Finland for opposing his bid to take over the island.
A long, unthinkable rupture inside NATO is now being openly discussed in France. What once sounded like political fringe talk is suddenly entering the mainstream. From Washington's pressure tactics to troop movements in the Arctic, tensions are boiling. And now, Paris is asking a dangerous question: does NATO still serve French interests? For decades, the notion of France walking away from NATO was treated as heresy, a fringe idea unfit for serious debate. That taboo is now cracking. According to Germany's Berliner Zeitung, calls for a French exit are surging with new urgency, driven by what the paper describes as Washington's return to an openly imperial foreign policy. The charge is being led from inside the French state itself. Clemens Goethe, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, is openly challenging the alliance, warning that continued submission to a US-dominated NATO no longer protects France, it weakens it. In her view, staying inside the bloc now threatens France's sovereignty, its strategic independence, and its long-term stability. Goethe says France risks being dragged into conflicts that directly contradict its national interests. In interviews, she warned that staying in an alliance led by a power accused of ignoring international law exposes France to instability, escalation, and strategic dependency. Her party, France Insubstanent, has long called for NATO's dissolution and previously pushed for France to exit NATO's Joint Military Command, echoing themes of independence rooted deep in French political history. French President Emmanuel Macron has also raised doubts about NATO's trajectory. In recent remarks, he warned the United States against violating Greenland's sovereignty, a statement that carried unprecedented weight. Soon after, France deployed troops to Greenland alongside forces from Germany, Norway, and Sweden. French officials described the move as a strong political signal, one aimed not at Moscow, but at Washington. The Arctic island has emerged as a new fault line inside the alliance. Talks between Denmark, Greenland, and U.S. officials revealed what diplomats described as fundamental disagreement with the Trump administration. President Donald Trump has again refused to rule out acquiring Greenland, declaring he will not give up options. The remark sent shockwaves through Europe, stunning Allied leaders and dragging once unthinkable ambitions into the open. What was dismissed as bluster is now being treated as a serious strategic threat, pushing Arctic security and transatlantic trust into open confrontation.
Mr. President, on NATO, right now it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country, the United... Are you saying that? Would you do that?
No, you're saying that.
Would you
I
acquire
didn't
it by
say it.
force
No,
right
you're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm going to do. You don't know what I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
Your
then?
network
Because
doesn't know either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right now?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought alongside the United States in both Afghanistan
Thank you
and
for telling me
Iraq.
that. I appreciate it.
But
I have a very good relationship
they're
with Denmark,
an
and we'll see how it all works out. I think something will work out.
This is a strong political signal. People were saying Europe was taking its time, but that's not quite true. So this Arctic endurance operation has been underway since yesterday. Military forces from various countries, at the request of Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Germany and France, are currently en route. And some of them are already positioned in Greenland, specifically in Nuuk. And so this is a first exercise.
How much for the French? Which shows the determination within NATO, by the way. How many French soldiers do you have?
There are about 15 soldiers, but the entire operation will be, these are not soldiers, it's preparation for an exercise. So we are currently with, notably, I think, high mountain specialists. The president is also meeting this morning, very quickly, a defense council, and he will have the opportunity to speak on this subject in his wishes to the armed forces this noon in Istres. We will demonstrate to the United States that the moment is now that Denmark has significantly increased in terms of both resources and funding its surveillance capabilities for Greenland, and that furthermore the European Union is providing assistance and European nations are mobilizing within NATO to ensure the national security of the entire region.